Good afternoon. From the KUOW newsroom, this is Seattle Now. I'm Paige Browning with a roundup of today's top stories. It's Tuesday, December 2nd. Before we get to the news, let me extend an invitation to you. Today is Giving Tuesday, a day all about supporting nonprofits, and it's an important fundraising day for Seattle Now and KUOW. We bring you 11 episodes per week. Interviews, news, feature stories, all produced by a nonprofit newsroom. If you love the show, you can support us today by clicking the link in the show notes. And when you do, you are giving the gift of independent journalism to the entire community. And thank you from the entire Seattle Now team. Myself, Andy, Patricia, Vaughn, Brooklyn, and Caroline. In news today, the man accused of shooting 2 National Guard troops in Washington, D.C. has pleaded not guilty. Ramanallah Lakhanwal, an Afghan national who lives in Bellingham, appeared in court by video from a hospital bed. He's charged with murder and assault for allegedly shooting 2 Guard members, killing one, Specialist Sarah Beckstrom. Lakhanwal was shot during the confrontation, and due to his injuries, his court-appointed attorney entered a not guilty plea on his behalf. Authorities are investigating a possible motive for what they described as an ambush-style attack. Washington Congressman Adam Smith is slamming the White House's latest explanation of its airstrikes on suspected drug boats in the Caribbean. The Trump administration confirmed that a second airstrike killed survivors of an initial U.S. attack in September. The administration says Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth didn't order the follow-up attack. Instead, they pointed to another military official. Smith is the top-ranking Democrat on the House Armed Services Committee.
Putting them in a terrible spot by giving them these highly questionable orders. And then after that, to come out and say, hey, it was that guy, not me, that's not leadership. And it's also not honest. It seems to me Secretary Hegseth is the one who's responsible for what happened.
Smith says the attacks are illegal because Congress has not declared war. Costco is suing the Trump administration. The Issaquah-based company wants to make sure it gets refunds if the U.S. Supreme Court strikes down President Trump's tariff policies. The High Court heard arguments in the case last month. Costco told Bloomberg News it's worked to shield customers from the effects of tariffs. It didn't say how much it's paid in tariffs, but U.S. Customs and Border data shows importers have paid nearly $90 billion as of late September. The Trump administration is suing Washington's top election official in an effort to get access to voter data. The Washington State Republican Party says the Department of Justice filed the lawsuit. It stems from the Trump administration's attempts to get access to the state's voter database. Secretary of State Steve Hobbs has refused to turn over restricted data like driver's license numbers and Social Security numbers. However, the Secretary of State's office says it's not been notified that it's part of legal action and has only heard of it through media reporting today. Hobbs, meanwhile, was already busy today. He and Governor Bob Ferguson met this afternoon to certify the results of the November election. Voters elected Katie Wilson as Seattle's mayor, Gurmai Zahalai as the new King County executive, and they approved a statewide measure that lets Washington invest its revenue from the long-term care tax in the stock market. With results certified, the Seattle City Council has sworn in their newest member. During a ceremony today at City Hall, District 2 Council member Eddie Lin spoke about growing up as a Chinese and Taiwanese American in North Carolina. There weren't strong Asian role models around him, and Lin says he felt shame.
Versus the pride I feel now about my heritage, especially living here in Seattle, where we have such strong and rich Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander history and culture and leaders.
Before running for council, Lin worked in the Seattle City Attorney's Office. He'll now represent the Chinatown International District, Beacon Hill, and Rainier Valley. Lin is the 3rd council member to serve this district since December of 2024. Former council member Mark Solomon was appointed to the position in January after former council member Tammy Morales resigned. In education news, this has been a transformational week for one program at UW. An anonymous donor has gifted more than $50 million to the Medical Laboratory Science program. UW's current class of 35 students there will have about $9,000 in tuition costs covered. GeekWire reports workers in medical laboratory science collect patient samples, conduct lab tests, and analyze results. This anonymous gift will allow UW to expand its program from 70 students to 100 a year. This time of year, people are applying for PhD programs at research universities like the University of Washington. But KNKX's Anna Marie Yanni reports there could be fewer spots available this cycle due to continued federal funding uncertainty.
Emily Levesque is an astronomy professor at UW. Earlier this fall, she helped conduct a survey that found dozens of astronomy degree programs across the nation are shrinking or canceling their PhD admissions this year. Levesque says UW's astronomy program isn't accepting any graduate students for 2026.
We knew that the federal funding uncertainty made it very hard to make long-term promises about how many grants we would have.
She worries continued funding uncertainty will hurt the next generation of STEM graduates.
They often go on to do really exciting, innovative private sector work. And it is sometimes forgotten that that is similarly a drain of resources and a drain of experts.
A UW spokesperson says other master's and PhD programs are also suspending admissions this year. I'm Anna Marie Yanni reporting.
Two transportation stories before we go. No light rail for the next 3 nights after 10 p.m. between Seattle's Capitol Hill and Northgate stations. For the last few hours of service at night, buses will be there to shuttle riders. It's part of Sound Transit's strategy to do maintenance several nights a month to help prevent unplanned closures. But it's always a good time to take transit. Let this final story remind you why. Seattle area drivers are spending 40% more hours in traffic than the typical U.S. driver. That's the latest from Kirkland-based traffic analytic company INRIX, which released its global traffic scorecard this week. Seattle congestion, which has gotten worse, is costing the region nearly $2 billion in lost time and spent fuel. Axios reports Seattle drivers lost 68 hours of their life to traffic in 2025, an 8% increase over last year. Next time on Seattle Now, Saturday marks yet another milestone for Link Light Rail. For the 4th time in 2 years, the system's expanding.
It's hard to find all the transit work happening across the country, but it looks like the only other train system that's growing as quickly as Seattle's is in LA.
Hear more about the new stretch to Federal Way Wednesday morning. That's all for today from the KUOW newsroom in Seattle. Our producer is Andy Hurst, and I'm Paige Browning. Seattle Now and KUOW are members of the NPR network. See ya.